Let's see. There we go. What is it that you think of when you hear AI? For me personally, it's GLaDOS from the Portal series, or for other people who might be slightly older within the audience, something like HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, or Skynet from the Terminator series. But for a lot of people during this day and age, they think of something more like ChatGPT. Yet when we look at my examples next to that of the example of ChatGPT, there's a clear distinction between the two of them. They're obviously not the same thing. Why is that? And what does it have to do with transhumanism, eugenics, and a basilisk? Artificial intelligence is an interesting subject to say the least, and it raises a lot of moral and ethical questions to go along with it. But this isn't that section of the video yet. All right, we haven't even started to define what it is we're talking about. At its simplest of understandings, AI is a machine's ability to perform the cognitive functions we associate with human minds. Things like perception, reasoning, learning, and kink shaming. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. It's machines and computers that can think like we do or better. And for a lot of people in the world, that better is an extremely low bar. As of right now, having a machine that rises to the level of human intelligence is relegated to the realm of science fiction. So we don't really have to worry about that robot uprising or a mendicant bias using super weapons against us anytime soon. At least not ones of our own creation. Heaven forbid that our first encounter with an intelligence outside of our own planet happens to be an AI that got mad at us for broadcasting stuff from the 1950s and 60s. Hey, you know what? Thinking about it, maybe the Halo reference wasn't the smartest of choices. Oh well. But if AI isn't really on the horizon, then what's with all of this discussion about it that's going around in the tech world? Enter ChatGPT and OpenAI. AI has pretty much become a generic term at this point and a marketing buzzword. If you happen to have a semi-intelligent program or a program that can automate tasks, then all you have to do is slap AI onto it and it becomes the next best-selling program on the market. And that's the simple truth of what's really going on. ChatGPT is a chatbot that runs off of an intelligent language model program. That program is the GPT part of its name, standing for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. The basic idea is that it uses word association along with its collection of training material to continue the prompt that it was given. This stochastic parrot stitches together its training material with just enough white noise to give the appearance of mimicking human language. This is what most of the AI on the market actually are and how they operate. OpenAI are the creators of ChatGPT, and another one of their creations shows off this imperfect mimicry to an unsettling degree. DALL-E 2 uses word association as well, but rather than associating words with other words, it associates them with art and stitches images together. At first glance, its images appear to be fairly normal, but when you look at them for longer than 2 seconds, the weirdness starts to pop out. People with 7 fingers, doors having irregular placements, etc., etc. When you're looking at text, your brain tends to autocorrect the errors away so they aren't really apparent to you. But when you're looking at an image, the imperfections stand out like a sore thumb. And it's these errors that tell you that the programs don't understand what they're doing. They're just parroting what they know without understanding the concepts behind them. So it's much more like the American education system than it is anything else. And let's not get anything twisted here. I am absolutely using the word understand in the classical sense. One of the hallmarks of AI is its ability to comprehend information rather than to just regurgitate it out. Stochastic parrots are called intelligent because of their ability to learn, but I personally believe that calling them semi-intelligent is far more accurate, because using intelligence assumes that the ability to comprehend what they've learned. Making This distinction is actually a problem within the world of biology as well when it comes down to trying to determine sentience. Most animals and babies can be taught how to perform tasks, and word association, like those videos of dogs and cats where you see them pushing the buttons to communicate with their owners and that they're hungry or that they want to go outside. Those animals have effectively become stochastic parrots. They're taught how to mimic human behavior, but they aren't ascribed with true sentience like crows or dolphins. Now, you may have come to the conclusion that I'm just being pedantic because I don't like the new technology hotness and I want to discredit it from having any kind of relevance, with the easiest way of doing that being that it's not really what it's claiming to be. But I would hope you know me a little better than that. As a master of pedantic arguments, I don't use them just to be petty, all right? There's a good reason to take issue with definitions and how we use them, especially in the world of AI and technology. Depending on how loose you want to play with the definition of AI, then a lot of the technologies that we call AI can be classified as such. The problem with doing that is that there are a lot of real and perceived benefits and dangers of these technologies that get undermined by doing so. I kind of hate that I had to write that out that way, but it was the best way to phrase it that came to mind. I am maximizing the use of the word "and" in the script. Anyways. But such is the way these things have to be done. Perhaps I should have used ChatGPT to help me write this out. Nah. What benefits all of this AI-related technology provides is highly debated. But I think that we can all agree that its primary benefit is to make the lives of most people easier. At least that's what it should be. Automation is used as the go-to example for what we can do with AI. And it's under the pretext of making life easier that people in the transhumanism movement come out in fervent support of AI. Transhumanism is the idea of utilizing technology to improve the daily lives of people and to overcome the burdens of our own biology. And on their own, the concepts in transhumanism aren't bad. I personally find a lot of them compelling. Things like curing cancer or expanding human life expectancy, using technology to reverse aging, and even automation of non-creative jobs that can be easily automated. A lot of these are things that we can reasonably utilize our current AI in. The scientific research is actually one of the primary uses of these programs. The problem here comes from the other side of transhumanism: eugenics. For those of you who are unaware of what that even is, it's the idea of proving racial superiority through science and utilizing science to make a superior kind of man. The Ubermensch kind of mindset. A notion which is blatantly false, but it had a lot of traction in the 18 and 1900s. It's almost explicitly within the realm of white supremacy, but has shown up here and there in fascist regimes throughout the racial spectrum. Although, during this day and age, they'd rather go by the term long-termists rather than eugenicists, because it doesn't include all the political and social baggage that accompanied the ideology back in the early 20th century. The connection between AI and eugenics, long-termism, aren't hard to find. Investing, direct research and development, etc., etc. But what's a little more interesting to me is that these groups also happen to be extremely vocal on the dangers of AI. If you've never heard of the Future of Life Institute, well, first off, I'm sorry for making you aware of them. Secondly, they're one of these long-termist groups that recently released a warning letter urging for the pause in development of AI for 6 months. This letter was signed onto by some very large names within the tech world, such as Steve Wozniak and Elon Musk. I swear, this man can never seem to find himself on the positive side of anything tech-related that I talk about. This letter was slammed by the experts in the field of AI, largely because it was just fear-mongering about AI hype. I lost my place and now I'm scrolling down. There we go. Cool. There's a whole list of dangers that AI presents, like a chatbot that can produce realistic enough text to fool people into thinking that what it says is real, unmitigated automation leading to job loss and exacerbating the issues of wealth and income inequality, or using AI to write legal documents that cite to cases that don't exist and then filing them in court because you believe that the bot was right when it said that all the cases were real. These are things that have happened or are happening right now. In fact, that last one just got a lawyer into some major trouble. But these aren't the things that get mentioned by these groups when trying to hype up AI. It's the apocalyptic future where AI takes over the world and destroys humanity. And it's almost always mentioned alongside with the futures where AI is controlled and used to make a utopian society. Both the apocalyptic and utopian futures are part of what is called the technological singularity. The basic idea is that it's a hypothetical point in the future in which the growth and development of technology becomes unstoppable and irreversible. Imagine it as machines making new machines that are smarter, better, faster, stronger. If you're disappointed that I didn't play a song by Daft Punk there, well, too bad. I'm not letting the AI copyright strike me. The concept of the singularity isn't an impossible outcome. In fact, there are arguments that we've been in one ever since the advent of the Industrial Revolution. Just consider how quickly we've gone from riding around in a horse-drawn buggy to putting people on the moon. The issue that I have with all of this is that those are the only two futures that are possible from when the singularity starts, and that, much like Marvel's Purple Man himself, they are inevitable. All the videos that I've watched and all the reading that I've done that revolve around the AI hype and related topics has made it seem that the people who are pushing for an AI future are less concerned with the problems of AI and more focused on the perceived ideal future with it. Because they buy into its inevitability and only having two possible futures, they choose the one that they find most favorable to them and work actively to achieve it. This reminds me of a thought experiment that has caught popularity over the past several years that follows a similar premise. Imagine the following with me for a moment. In the not too distant future, a hyper-intelligent AI is developed and is set forth with the task of optimizing humanity's happiness. It starts by creating a perfect simulation of the world up to its creation. Utilizing that perfect simulation, it then proceeds to take all those who knew of its impending creation but did nothing to promote or help it in the process and tortures them for an eternity. You, now being informed of this situation in the past before the creation of this AI, what actions would you take? Would you help bring forth its creation or would you work against it? This thought experiment is called Roko's basilisk, and it functions similarly to the prisoner's paradox. Both of these experiments function on showing how that working in one's own best interest ultimately ends up being the optimal decision in group settings, which funnily enough makes them just like another famous thought experiment, Pascal's wager. Just limit it to only one person having to make the choice and replace AI with belief in God. But there are flaws in the logic for all of these scenarios. All three of them assume that there's only two choices that you can make, and that there are a limited number of outcomes from those choices. What if there's more than one God to pick from? What if both prisoners are innocent and there's a third prisoner that they can say did it? What if you build a second AI that is designed to prevent the basilisk from torturing people? The moment that we start throwing in new choices into the equation, the number of outcomes change and the thought experiment breaks down. In the case of AI hype and the futures they propose, the choices are whether or not we control the development of AI for the betterment of human society, and the outcomes that are always the apocalyptic or the utopian. But the third option of never building AI exists. as does the situation in which AI can't exist. That last thought probably hasn't actually occurred to you throughout this entire video. There are two terms that I've opted to ignore talking about: narrow AI and artificial general intelligence, or AGI. The reason for the omission should be fairly apparent, as I've already discussed what they are. Narrow AI is everything that we call AI today, like ChatGPT. And AGI are the things that are locked away in the world of sci-fi that people get scared about taking over the planet. For all the leaps and bounds that we've made with narrow AI, we still don't have a working model for, or even a reasonable pathway to AGI. And all the hype that's built up around it is a problem of correlation and causation. They see the stochastic parrots and assume that they'll lead to AGI. If AGI isn't really just right around the corner, then we shouldn't be focusing on the hype train that swarms around it and the apocalyptic / utopian futures that it could bring. We should be looking at narrow AI and the issues that come from these stochastic parrots and how to better deal with them and how to minimize the harm that they do. But that's probably the point of the hype in the first place, to keep us distracted so we don't try to fix the issues. Not to wander into the realm of conspiratorial thinking, but that does happen to be one of the common tactics of disinformation campaigns. You can learn more about those with the little link up in the corner. Hopefully, for those of you who knew very little about AI in general, this will serve as a good jumping off point for you to go and learn more. I don't know if I'll have any links to jumpstart your learning experience, but if I do, they'll be down in the description. That's also where you can find the link to other areas of the internet that I happen to be on. If you want to hear more from me, then the Basilisk says that you should subscribe for future videos and go watch the others here on this channel. Lots of interesting topics there. But that's going to be it from me today. See you next time.